Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. The Cdc alerts states to prepare for a possible coronavirus vaccine as early as this fall. The timeline and how many vaccines could be available coming up.
The hairstylist involved in Nancy Pelosi's blowout controversy seemingly agrees with her accusation that the whole thing was a setup.
And raising their voices for crime victims, how you can help possibly solve a crime with your lunch today. This is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. Good morning. Good to have you with us. It is 5 a.m. I'm Maddie Jansen along with Alex Fisher, and we're looking at another hazy day out there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're getting that much closer to that heat wave that Kevin has been talking about. Let's turn things over to him as he has a look at our forecast for this Thursday.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing that haze the next several days. Now, yesterday we hit 95 degrees, so that was a great temperature before we really start to see the temperatures rise. Let's show you the watches and warnings right now and what we're going to be seeing throughout the day. And this is going to continue in terms of the air quality warning in place until next Tuesday, right around 5 o'clock. So it's not going any place anytime soon. 72 degrees out there currently. We've got a west-northwest wind at 7, visibility at 7 miles. As we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast for today, you can see starting out in the 60s, and then we'll rise back into those mid-90s. As we take a look at the mountains, 63 degrees. Start off your morning, a west wind at 6, and hour-by-hour, here's what you can expect by 7 a.m., 57, and then we're back into the upper 80s as we progress into the afternoon. I'll have much more in your forecast. That's coming up in just a bit.
All right, Kat, thanks so much. I have a traffic alert to bring you this morning after a large power outage in East Bakersfield that took traffic lights offline in the area just west of Foothill High School. That's between Niles Street and the north end of Edison Highway on the south end. And according to PG&E, the outage happened just before 3 o'clock this morning. It's affecting more than 1,500 homes and businesses. It's not expected to be restored until about an hour from now. CHP reports multiple stoplights out in the area due to this outage. We'll update you as soon as we have more information.
And new information this morning on the death of a man who was hit by a car in northwest Bakersfield. It happened just before 9:40 p.m. last night on Calloway Drive, just north of Rosedale Highway. Police say the man was walking outside a crosswalk and was hit. That man, whose identity has not been released, was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say the driver stayed at the scene and cooperated with the investigation, and they don't suspect drugs, alcohol, or speeding were factors. If you have information, you're asked to call BPD at 327-7111.
1 week after the district attorney's office said it had no confidence in a Kern County judge, the criminal defense bar is pushing back. Last week, DA Cynthia Zimmer denounced Superior Court Judge Michael E. Delestrito as biased, noting the office has no confidence in his handling of future criminal cases. The announcement came after Delestrito struck firearms enhancements in the sentencing of a man who shot and seriously wounded another man in East Bakersfield. The DA's office argued the shooter could have received 32 years to life in prison, but with the enhancements struck, he instead got a prison term of 18 years and 6 months. Yesterday, the president of the Kern Criminal Defense Bar, Elliot Magnus, said the DA's office should have challenged the ruling privately and should never have done so publicly.
All the attorneys that I've spoken to are very upset with how this was handled. Again, we have no issue with exercising challenges on judges, or even if they had an inter-office memo to blanketly challenge judges. I believe that's even been contested in other counties, and they said that that's constitutional, and we have no issue with that. It's running to the media to try to argue their case and plead their case to try to discredit Judge Delestrito is where we have the big issue. The faith in the judicial system takes a hit, and that's dangerous for everyone.
We reached out to the DA's office and were told that Zimmer stands by her decision.
Your time now is 5:04. And now to the latest on the coronavirus, with the CDC alerting states to prepare for a possible vaccine as soon as this fall.
Right now, I will say we're preparing earnestly for what I anticipate will be reality, that there will be one or more vaccines available for us in November, December, and we have to figure out how to make sure they're distributed in a fair and equitable way across the country.
That was a statement from CDC Director Robert Redfield. And he said he sent a notice to all 50 states to prepare for a vaccine as early as late October. This comes as health officials fear another spike in cases as Labor Day weekend quickly approaches. Dr. Anthony Fauci reportedly told a White House meeting of governors that the holiday will determine if the U.S. is able to get a running start in battling the disease this fall. Coronavirus cases and hospitalizations are down nationwide since their peak in July. Here at home, COVID cases, 143 new COVID cases were added yesterday to our county's total, and no new deaths. More than 29,000 people tested positive for COVID-19 in Kern since the pandemic began. At last check, more than 13,000 people are recovering from the virus at home. 182 people are currently being treated in area hospitals. 292 in Kern County have died from the virus since March. And we're expecting an update this morning at 10 a.m. You can watch that live update here on KGET or on our Facebook. Hundreds of people showed up outside our KGET studios yesterday to get a free COVID-19 test. Once again, we teamed up with Public Health to give people the opportunity to get tested for free, even if they had no symptoms. This is the second time we've hosted such an event in less than a week.
We're just in awe about the numbers that we have received so far. Not only last Friday, nearly 400 tests, and now today, over 300 tests. So we are so excited, and we hope to be back again.
418 people got tested yesterday, 375 on Friday, bringing the total to 793. Our thanks to the Kern Community College District for the use of the testing site at 22nd and L Streets. And just an update, the weekly county health update on coronavirus will not be given live this morning at 10 a.m., but we will get you those latest numbers when they are released. You can download our 17 News app to have those sent to your phone.
If you've recovered from COVID-19, you still have a chance to help save a life while being rewarded for your efforts. You could help save lives and be rewarded for doing so. Supervisors Leticia Perez and Mike Maggard have teamed up with the Houchin Community Blood Bank to hold a convalescent plasma drive at the Kern County Fairgrounds. They're making this big push because COVID survivors have antibodies that could help infected patients fight off this virus.
What matters today is you have in your veins, if you have recovered from COVID, convalescent plasma that will make the difference in saving someone's life and stopping the suffering that they're having in the hospital.
Nothing should get in the way of our unified efforts to lock arms and say we are united in the fight against COVID because it is not partisan, it is not political, it is not ideological. We can, through these efforts, alleviate suffering, get people home, get them healed, and get our community back moving the way we need it to be.
If you miss out on the drive at the fairgrounds, you can still donate at Houchin's locations throughout the week. And to show appreciation, Houchin is giving participants $50 gift certificates and a 2021 Kern County Fair ticket package.
5:08 now. Today, local law enforcement and firefighters are holding the first ever Voices for Victims barbecue fundraiser in downtown Bakersfield. In the past decade, donations for the nonprofit have been few and far between, affecting rewards and subsequently the nonprofit's ability to help get murderers off the street. However, 2 years ago, the mothers of the Bakersfield Three, Diane Byrne, Jane Parent, and Cheryl Holsenbake, went in front of the Kern County Board of Supervisors asking for their help to save the fledgling program. Together, they raised tens of thousands of dollars for the fund, and now the group, alongside the DA's office, local law enforcement, and firefighters, are hoping this barbecue can raise even more and maybe even entice more people to come forward and help solve cases, giving hope to families who've lost loved ones.
You're getting something in return too. You're getting that satisfaction to know that you're giving hope to another family.
The lunch includes a tri-tip sandwich, chips, cookie, and a bottle of water for $10. The drive-through barbecue will be held at the corner of Truxton Avenue and L Streets from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. To order 10 or more lunches, call 310-739-5507, and you can get free delivery, too.
Welcome back to Education News and a new course offered by Bakersfield College. The college says students in the new warehouse management course will learn about operations, efficiency, and distribution center leadership, among other things. The course is the first in a series of 5 for students who want to obtain a degree in supply chain logistics. BC says there's still room for students to enroll in the class for the fall semester.
The Kern High School District's offering up free meals to children starting Friday. Funded by the U.S. Department of Agricultural Meal Waiver, the free meals will be available to anyone ages 2 through 18. All 18 comprehensive high schools and the Nueva Continuation High School will be holding the drive-through meal distribution between 1 and 2:30 in the afternoon. That schedule will hold for the next week, Monday through Friday.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. The future of Jeep will be unveiled today with the return of an iconic vehicle. Remember the Wagoneer? First debuted in the 1960s, and by the 1980s it was given wood grain paneling and the name Grand Wagoneer. Later today, Fiat Chrysler is bringing back the SUV for the first time since 1991. So far, we've only seen teaser photos of the new vehicle. Jeep will also debut a hybrid electric version of the brand's flagship Wrangler SUV. I think Maddie wants to get that car. All right, Labor Day marks the unofficial end of summer, but many Americans are trying to squeeze in one last vacation over the long weekend. NBC's Liz McLaughlin has some handy tips for that last-minute road trip.
2020 is the year of the road trip. According to the experts at AAA, 97% of summer travelers are choosing to hit the roads, and Labor Day weekend is no exception.
People are taking to their cars because it provides comfort. It's your own vehicle, and you can control your stops and flexibility along your route.
Take extra food with you to limit trips to stores and restaurants, and be sure to pack face masks, cleaning supplies, and gloves.
And if you can't find gloves, we always recommend plastic bags, especially for stops like gas stations. You can use a plastic bag as a barrier between you and the pump.
AAA has a new COVID-19 travel restrictions map on its website, where you can get information about requirements and closures to plan ahead.
Planning ahead is going to be essential, not just looking at what you want to do when you arrive in your destination, but think about the stops that you're going to need to make along the way, whether they be restroom breaks or roadside attractions.
If you're staying at a hotel, be aware that amenities like the pool, gym, and breakfast buffet could be closed to guests. You may also want to wipe down your room after checking in and get a wake-up call.
Many of the national parks, state parks, and local attractions have limits on the number of guests that they're taking. So you want to get up early, get in early.
Ways to maximize the holiday weekend while staying safe. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Well, this morning, new information about that video showing Nancy Pelosi getting her hair done at a salon during the coronavirus lockdown. The San Francisco cosmetologist who works at the salon is telling his side of the story. In a statement issued by his lawyer, hairstylist Jonathan DiNardo appears to agree with Pelosi's accusation that her appointment was a setup designed to embarrass her for allegedly ignoring coronavirus rules. According to the statement, DiNardo worked on Pelosi's hair after receiving approval from salon owner Erica Kios. DiNardo claims during a phone call last weekend, Kios was openly critical of the 80-year-old House Speaker who has represented San Francisco in Congress since 1987. He says he also took all requisite safety measures during the appointment, including cleaning all service areas and wearing protective equipment recommended by the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Kios has since released security camera video of the hair appointment and appeared on Fox News Channel to talk about it.
It is Battleground Thursday. Both President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are visiting key swing states today, hoping their messages will resonate as new polls show just how important those states may be come November. Tracy Potts has more.
Alex, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We've got some new polling this morning from Fox that shows Joe Biden leading in 3 critical states: Arizona, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. He'll be in Wisconsin today after the president was there.
Communities, not criminals. Jobs, not mobs.
President Trump takes his law and order message to Pennsylvania today, fresh from North Carolina, where he continued to claim, without proof, fraud in mail voting, urging residents to vote twice.
Let them send it in and let them go vote. And if their system's as good as they say it is, then obviously they won't be able to vote.
Backed by his attorney general in Washington.
Fraud and coercion is reckless and dangerous, and the people are playing with fire.
Joe Biden lands in Kenosha, Wisconsin today to do the one thing President Trump didn't do there, meet with the family of Jacob Blake.
To be a positive influence on what's going on, talk about what need be done.
Blake's police shooting touched off riots and civil unrest.
Looting is not protesting.
Biden's rolling out new ads after raising a whopping $365 million last month. A new Fox poll shows him with an 8-point lead over Mr. Trump in Wisconsin among likely voters. He's accusing President Trump of ignoring the COVID bill stuck in Congress.
Mr. President, where are you? Where are you? Get off Twitter and start talking to the congressional leaders in both parties.
Both nominees will be talking soon. The first of 3 presidential debates is set for later this month in Cleveland. Plus, President Trump on Twitter threatening to withhold billions in federal funds from what he calls anarchist cities. Portland, Seattle, Washington, New York, cities dealing with racial unrest. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo calls it an illegal stunt. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
Today marks 3 months since a local Black Lives Matter protester was hit by a car and killed. Robert Forbes was hit by the car during a protest on California Avenue just east of Oak. He later died from his injuries. The driver of the car who hit him, who identified himself as Timothy Keith Moore in a now-deleted Facebook apology, was never detained. At least 2 online petitions are demanding Moore's arrest. He denies intent, but witnesses interviewed by police say he did increase his speed. Police say they have spoken with witnesses and continue to investigate. They noted that some of Moore's tattoos have been associated with white supremacist groups. 17 News reached out to Moore for comment, but he has not yet responded.
Now, a man was arrested for the homicide that happened outside a Northeast Bakersfield pot shop. Investigators say 28-year-old Tanner Blankenship was stabbed to death in the parking lot of Backyard Organics on River Boulevard. It happened around 1:30 in the morning on July 20th. Kern County Sheriff's detectives identified 29-year-old Miguel Bravo as a suspect in the killing. He was arrested at 6 o'clock last night in the 1200 block of East 18th Street and booked into the Kern County Jail. Anyone with information is urged to call KCSO at 861-3110, or you can remain anonymous by calling the Secret Witness Hotline at 322-4040.
Your 17 Court Watch now, and a local CHP officer arrested in an undercover online child sex sting said he never would have met with the decoying person and that the sexually graphic conversations he engaged in were, quote, just fantasies. 52-year-old Pardue was one of 15 people arrested during an undercover operation where detectives posed as children online. On July 3rd, Pardue contacted a detective posing as a teen girl on a dating app. That's according to court filings. Pardue identified himself as a 48-year-old woman named Anna and began asking sexually explicit questions. He continued making graphic comments after being told the decoy was 16 years old. That's according to documents. Pardue has pleaded not guilty to contacting a minor to commit a sexual offense and is due in court September 15th.
Local law enforcement says it's stepping up patrols this holiday weekend to keep you safe on the road. California Highway Patrol will have a Labor Day maximum enforcement period. You're asked to drive sober, use a seatbelt, avoid distractions, and obey all rules of the road. Last year, during the Labor Day holiday weekend, 45 people were killed in crashes across California. CHP made more than 1,000 DUI arrests during the 78-hour enforcement period last year.
Workers at Edwards Air Force Base will now have an easier time getting around. Starting tomorrow, Spin, which is backed by Ford Motor Company, will deploy a fleet of 17 electric scooters. The scooters will cost $1 to unlock and then 15 cents per minute to ride. The goal is to help members of the military and civilians get around easier on a portion of the 470 square mile area.
The pandemic has impacted many community events, but the show will go on for the annual State of the City Conference. And you can watch it right here on KGET. We're hosting the virtual event this year featuring Bakersfield Mayor Karen Go and City Manager Kristen Clegg. You are looking at video clips of this year's event, and it's airing Saturday night at 8 o'clock. The 2020 State of the City will provide businesses with an update on the city's response to COVID-19. the city budget, and efforts to improve the economy, community development, and public safety. It's sponsored by Dignity Health, Mercy, and Memorial Hospitals.
Adventist Health continues to offer free vaccinations for kids who need them. The immunizations are for children who have no health insurance, for families on Medi-Cal, or for Native children. It's happening from 8:30 a.m. till 3 p.m. You do need to call for an appointment. You can call the number on your screen. After struggling for much of the past decade, Kern's Secret Witness program has seen a surge in donations over the past 2 years.
That's right. Today, local law enforcement and firefighters are hoping that trend continues as they hold the first ever Voices for Victims barbecue fundraiser in downtown Bakersfield. And we find 17's Taylor Schaub there this morning as everyone's preparing. Tell us a little bit about what people can expect today, Taylor.
Well, we're still a couple hours away right now, Maddie, but since 1982, this program has pledged to give a voice to victims by offering rewards to those who offer assistance to investigators on some of Kern County's most heinous crimes. And today you can come out for a barbecue right here off of L and Truxton Streets right behind me. You can pull up for a drive-through barbecue, get a nice tri-tip sandwich, and potentially help prosecutors solve crimes.
It's really important. It gives families hope, and it gives the victim a voice.
Diane Byrne is the mother of James Kolstad, a member of the Bakersfield 3. She says the Kern Secret Witness program has given her hope when all seemed lost.
It helps me get up the next day to know that we are making a difference, not just for our family, but for other families. You know, that we're not walking this walk alone, that we are a community that cares.
However, for the past decade, donations have been few and far between for the nonprofit. So 2 years ago, she, Jane Parent, and Cheryl Holsenbake went in front of the Kern County Board of Supervisors, asking for their help to save the fledgling program. Together, they raised tens of thousands for the fund.
Together, we're making a difference in Kern County.
She hopes this barbecue can raise even more and entice more people to come forward.
I would like to see all families have the opportunity for their loved one to have a voice and have rewards to help solve their crimes.
District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer agrees, adding this program is essential in solving many high-profile cases.
We want those families to know that we never forget. We continue to seek answers and solve crimes, and there are people on posters behind me that I will never forget.
Both she and Byrne hope people come out in droves, buying tri-tip sandwiches in the name of hope.
You're getting something in return too. You're getting that satisfaction to know that you're giving hope to another family.
Well, the drive-through event is happening right here at the corner of L Streets and Truxton. It starts at 11 a.m., goes till 2 p.m. today. During that time, there is no parking. You can pull up the car and you can pick up your tri-tip sandwich. It also comes with chips, comes with a cookie, and comes with a bottle of water for just $10. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Taylor, thank you so much. You know, it's truly amazing what those moms, the moms of the Bakersfield 3, have been able to accomplish by coming together and using their pain for a purpose.
I think they put they put the spotlight on the Secret Witness program, but again, there are so many families. I mean, you heard DA Cynthia Zimmer talk about it yesterday. About 50% of all cases are still unsolved. That is staggering.
Yeah, it really is.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.